chosen generation. We've been called for to show His excellence. Hey, all I require for life, God has given me, and I know who I am. We are a chosen generation. We've been called for to show His excellence. All I require for life, God has given me, for I know who I am. I know who God says I am, what He says I am, where He says I'm at. I know who I am. I know who God says I am, what He says I am, where He says I'm at. I know who I am. I'm working in power, I work in miracles, I live a life of favor, for I know who I am. I'm working in power, I work in miracles, I live a life of favor, for I know who I am.
And what I love about this book is we have some authors that were vulnerable enough to share their story. There's a lot of stories in here of, there's a little bit of shame in there, there's a little bit of struggle in there, there's a little bit of fear in there, doubt in there, children without fathers, a lot of financial ruin in here, a lot of insecurity in here. But these women came together and they were bold enough and brave enough to be able to share their story and step up to the plate and be able to say, hey, you know what? I'm not going to stay in that place anymore of shame. I'm not going to stay in that place of doubt. I'm not going to stay in that place of feeling unlovable. I'm ready to share my story and hope that that story blesses others. And ladies, I'm telling you tonight, you have a lot of people here that you've blessed with this book. So if we could just give you guys a round of applause. Can you just share with us really briefly what inspired you to write your chapter? Come on, girl.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for coming out tonight. So I was inspired when I met Farah, and we were talking casually, and she was just like, no, girl, you need to share that story. Somebody out there has gone through and needs to know that they can make it through.
Amen.
And so I initially started the chapter in order to help someone else. In that, I remember talking to my brother one day. Sometimes he doesn't think I listen, but this one actually stayed in my mind. And he said to me, sometimes you're on your train and your train gets derailed. But you know what? You just exchange the parts. You renew, like you just get fixed up, and then you continue on your way. And for me, this chapter means that I'm continuing on my way. I'm back on track.
Yes, girl. Yes.
And so that's why I decided to move through with it.
Ooh, Siobhan. Where is Siobhan? My girl, Siobhan. Where is Siobhan in her white dress? Come on, girl. And can you share with us what inspired you to write your chapter?
So basically, over the years, what a lot of people say to me is they're surprised that I'm a single mom.
Right. Because you look so together, right? You look so together.
I have 4 boys. Yeah. So everyone's like, oh my God. And I'm like, yeah. So what inspired me was that just because you're a single mom doesn't mean that you can't achieve things. Single momhood is not...
I like that word, single momhood.
It's not a detriment to you. You know, you take it, you channel it, and you push it in a good direction.
I love that. I love that. I love your dress. I love your dress. Yo, Tasika. We're going to do something a bit different with you. Can you read a little snippet of your chapter? Don't read the whole thing because I won't buy it. Right?
I got 2 chapters. I wasn't prepared.
You are always prepared. Don't worry, girl.
Going to read.
Okay. We got you. Breathe in.
I never thought that you were going to show up at our daughter's christening, but you did. Seems like you were hiding as much as I didn't even want you to hold her, I was happy that she at least got to have a moment with you. Is that all she's going to have with you? Just a moment? Our daughter is 4 years old now. And no one from your side of the family has seen her yet.
Next up, we have Shannon. Shannon. Woo! I take it that's your group. Come, girl. Come. What made you inspired to write your book?
I felt like I was alone.
Alone.
Yep. I felt like I was alone, and because I felt like I was alone, I felt that somebody else may go through the same thing that I went through, and I didn't want someone else to feel like they're alone. So I wrote it to help out. I needed healing myself. I needed closure, and it brought me closure.
You got that, right?
Yep.
I got that. Amen. Thank you. What's the name of your chapter?
Not me, ungrateful.
Love it. Love it. Yeah, thank you. Round of applause. I love that. I love it. Next up, we have Ketsia. Where is Ketsia? Where is she? Woo! Oh, what shoes? Okay, what shoes? Yeah, you look good, girl. What's the name of your chapter?
It's called The Ugly Truth.
The Ugly Truth. I love that. So, what do you mean by ugly truth?
So I've always struggled. Once I had my son, it was a lot of the shame of single parenting, coming from a family where they're big on marriage and stuff, and me having a child out of wedlock, it was a lot of the shame that I carried. So even going to parties, my friends all have like their spouse, and I was always the one.
All right, with the stroller and
single mom
the
and
diaper bag.
Yeah. So it was, and explaining it to my son was very difficult for me. So this is kind of what the chapter touches about.
I love that, the ugly truth. Guys, just give her a round of applause. I love that. Where is Latasha? Where is Latasha? Where is Latasha? Where is she? Oh,
Okay. 8 years ago now, I gave my life to Christ. It was February of 2010. I bowed my knee and surrendered to the Lord. And I have to say that from then until now, it wasn't an easy journey. Like, it was hard. Things that I was bound to in the world, the sins, the cares of the world. There were times in my salvation where it came upon me again. Some would say you backslid or you fell. It happened to me, just being honest. So that's why I say it wasn't an easy journey, because it wasn't like from the moment I gave my life to Christ, it was just perfect and squeaky clean. No, I fell, I bruised my knee, but I got back up. Thank God.
and you get back up good. I like it. Right. They always say, save the best for last. There's no best, there's no last, but I've got to save the best for last, guys. We have our compiler. Does anyone? What? Guys, if you don't know Farah Hodgson, you're missing something. This is a compiler. This is a compiler of the book. Farah compiled this book. Look at that shot. I love that. She's a successful entrepreneur and an author of 5 published books. Give a round of applause. 5 books. She is recognized by her community for winning the 2016 Woman on Fire Single Mother Award. This is Farah's greatest achievement, and she's considered to be an inspirational and loving super duper mom. In 2017, Farah was celebrated as one of the 100 Black women to watch in Canada. Whoa. Miss Hodgson is active in her church and has a love for serving the Lord. Her walk with Christ has been instrumental in sculpting her into the strong woman of God she is today. Let's give her a round of applause. Farah, I just need to ask you, I asked everybody else what inspired them to write this chapter. I'm just gonna ask you one thing. For me, what inspired you to write another one of these? Because I was in the first one. Why did you do another series?
I actually have so many more waiting to go in part 3 of this book. I know as a single mother, we go through so much. And I know myself, I went through everything that everybody's wrote in their chapters. So when I hear, I'm not even completing the second book as yet, and I hear other, they passed the deadline and they just message me and they're like, okay, when are you doing your next book, right? And every time it's something else. You know what I mean? It's different stories, but we can all relate to the same struggle. So I do have other books, but these two books, the Confessions books, 1 and 2, are my bestsellers. And
Why is that?
I think the dramatic episodes that everybody goes through, yeah, very juicy and very like real and raw, and I think that's what people want to hear. So after a couple series, I decided that I am going to do a movie. So yes.
So once again, I was asked to speak on how do you take care of your child when you are physically and mentally disabled. So my answer to that was you survive, you choose to live when you want to die, you choose that giving up is not an option. And basically for me, God didn't quit on me, so I couldn't quit on my child. It's not an option. In 2007, July 1st, 2007, which was the day before my birthday, my father tragically passed away of a heart attack, massive heart attack. We were out on Saturday, it was the long weekend, and we had planned basically to just do spring cleaning in the summer. And basically, I was a mess. Finding out he passed out, I wasn't really able to look after my daughter the way I wanted to, and many times cried myself to sleep. I would just cry till I pass out, and eventually what I realized, the church family that I had, as well as God, was taking care of my 2-year-old daughter at the time. Many times I didn't know where she was because I was so distraught I couldn't, it just didn't make any sense. He was here today, gone tomorrow. And going through that, it took a toll on me through depression. I found myself on medications to try to be happy and to try to cope kind of thing. And then in 2009, I thought I was ready to go to work, and I decided to take a job. And as soon as I took the job, I was leaving and I fell and I had an accident. So in the process of grieving and feeling like I was getting over, I had an accident, broke one of my front teeth out, and it affected my entire body. My neck, my back, my knees, everything was a mess. I went to work within 3 weeks of the accident with a broken tooth, did 2 root canals, and I decided no matter what was happening, I still have to do, even if it's the basics for my daughter. And so the main thing for us was making sure she ate, she was bathed, she went to sleep, we went to church, and that was pretty much the day. When I started back my business, I was about 2 months after my dad died, and I started back, and that was the only time I would sing, I would read a book to her, or I would be the person I was before my father passed. And then, as I said, I had the accident, and going through that, you're on medications, heavy doses of Tylenol, codeine, 3, and stuff just to numb the pain. But at the time, you're numbing the pain, and you find yourself easily agitated. And I found there were times I was really short-fused with my daughter. I wasn't happy with it, but I realized it was the medications. So I tried basically to go and to a naturopath, and because I couldn't afford a naturopath, I had to stop and go back on pharmaceuticals. The long and short of it, through all of it, God carried me through. That was what kept me. When I was crying, when I was grieving, it was worship music. That was my inspiration. Just turning on the radio all day was worship music. It was a learning experience, and it was a humbling experience to me to show me that your life can change in just a moment. Every moment that you have with your family, appreciate them, love them, your children, your mother, your father, love them, because you don't really know when the time will come when they leave. I believe God is faithful to complete what He has started, and He didn't make us pregnant and be single mothers by accident. There was a purpose, and He saw that there was greatness in each one of us. He saw that we had the ability to look after the child that He gave to us. And when you realize that you can't do it on your own, be reminded that you can do all things through Christ that strengthens you, which is from Philippians 4 verse 13. God bless you all, queens and kings. Have a blessed night.